Welcome to this Sunday's Gospel Reflection. In the first reading of today's liturgy, Joshua challenges the people in the name of God. If it does not please you to serve the Lord, he tells his people, decide today whom you will serve. Is it the God of your fathers or the gods of the Amorites in whose country you are now dwelling? The choice is clear and the choice is hard. It's either adoring oneself, that's the land of the Amorites, self-adulation, self-centering, or adoring a God who always comes to us as another. He is the other. It is either choosing to serve our self-interest or else to serve the interests of the others whom we love. It is either seeing ourselves as gods or serving the true and only God, love. It's time to take a decision. It's time to choose between the God of our fathers or the gods of our country we are dwelling in today, our culture, which is self-centered and selfish. And by society and culture, I mean the way people see and treat themselves and others. Culture is what people value most. These are the gods that Joshua is talking about. My body, my choice. How often are we going to hear this catch-it-all phrase? What it means is that myself, my body, my interests, my convenience, my comfort, pleasure, money, property, these are my first choice, my priorities. The rest of humanity, the world, society, they are there, yes, they exist, but to serve me, to serve my needs or preferences. It is all about me. It is a world in which I only have rights and freedoms. I don't want any constraints, no one to dictate what I should think, say, do, or have. This is and has always been the definition of paganism and materialism. The difference between adoring a false God and a true God so often boils down to this. Jesus also said what so many people say today. This is my body. But his choice was different because he continued. He did not stop there. This is my body. This is my choice. No, this is my body, says Jesus, and this is your choice. Take and eat. The selfish side of human nature says, my body is mine, and you, my friend, are there to satisfy my needs. And Jesus says, my body is not mine, my friend. It is yours. Me, my body, all I am, all I have, are not just mine. I am totally yours, so that you can live. And Jesus goes further. My body, whatever I am, can only be really mine if I give it to you. There is no greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And that makes all the difference between being imprisoned and that makes all the difference between being imprisoned by our own selfishness in our own body and being able, thanks to our bodies, to reach out, discover the joys of companionship, friendship, true, loving relationships. You see, adoring oneself is the worst type of idolatry. It kills. oneself, and others. Adoring the true God is adoring a life, a love that gives life and makes us out of many one. There are indeed many false gods, but only one true God. And when people adore themselves and their own self interest, then the world is at the mercy of an endless number of gods. Watch the news. See how our world is consumed by conflicts, wars, corruption, dictatorships. We're ruining the world because of our own selfishness. When people see themselves as gods, the others become enemies, threats, or slaves. When people stop looking in the mirror to see just themselves, then they discover that there is one true God. They discover the enchanting beauty of authentic love, which is life, harmony. The whole planet becomes the heaven on earth it was meant to be. Adoring the true God who is love is discovering the others as friends, brothers, sisters. And it is in lovingly serving them instead of making them serve us that we discover a life and the joy that no money, no career, no pleasure on their own can give to us. Which brings us to the second reading. St. Paul does not mince his words. Subordinate yourselves, submit yourselves to one another. Submit to others, not because you're weaker, because you're not strong enough, but because your love is stronger than any weakness. This is so true in human history, in all relationships, but especially with regards to the most fundamental human relationship, and that is marriage. And St. Paul, in the second lesson, speaks in a very challenging way about marriage. No, he is not advocating slavish. No. He's not advocating slavish submission of women to men because men are the stronger gender, as it has been lived for centuries. On the contrary, he is advocating the true and full gender equality. And he says, as the church is subordinate to Christ, so wives should be subordinate to their husbands in everything. But, and St. Paul continues, very often we stop there and we cry foul. Husbands, says St. Paul, love your wives, even as Christ loved the church and handed himself over for her. No, he is not advocating some macho superiority of men over women, as the Taliban believe and impose. That is the law of the jungle, not the law of God. What St. Paul is saying is that the wife is truly a loving wife if she submits herself to the law of love for her husband, for her children, for her family. How can we ever be grateful enough to our moms who subordinated themselves to our weakness right since the time we were little babies or impossible children and right through our whole lives? For them, it was us first, their children. How much did my mom put up with the weak side, or not just her children, but my dad's character? That's submitting out of love. On the other hand, St. Paul urges husbands to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife, he says it so clearly, he who loves his wife loves himself. Husband and wife are to bring to each other the two sides of divine love. The wife brings a loving, free, total service, whilst the husband brings a deep sense of union and solid belonging, the same as Christ and the church. And when I say church, I mean us, whom St. Paul calls his cherished bride. Is not this a much more beautiful vision of gender equality rather than what the world advocates when it speaks more of competitiveness between sexes and genders, rather than respectful, harmonious support to one and all, right in the heart of their diversity? Is not this much more effective to build a just society rather than insisting only on our own rights while ignoring and downplaying our duties towards those whom we are called to love and respect? But as Jesus' disciples murmured amongst themselves, this teaching is hard. Who can accept it? Who can live up to the demands of love? Who is ready to die so that others may live? Jesus knows how hard and impossible this is for us humans. In Gethsemane, on the cross itself, he was terrified of death, just like us. He almost refused to give up his life for us. No human can live up to this highest of standards unless it is given to them by God the Father. The inspiration and strength can only come from God. But we humans, we still have something that even God cannot do for us. We have the last word. Only we can freely choose to say yes or no to this great and impossible gift of love that He is offering us. So, when everything is said and done, we know that not even our body is ours. Our body has been freely given to us as a gift. Our physical bodies will one day be taken away from us. How can I say, my body, my choice? Only one thing is really mine, my choice. And my choice is a decision. Do I want to love? And therefore, do I want to have what is really mine? Or do I want to love myself and just myself and lose all the rest of who I am? The disciples were terrified of this choice. Who can accept this hard teaching? They told Jesus. But Jesus is neither a Taliban nor a so called Western liberal. He never imposes himself on us. Do you also want to leave? He told his disciples. The choice is yours. And we can only thank poor Simon Peter in all his human fragility and sinfulness to answer in our name, Master, to whom shall we go? You alone have the words of eternal life. God bless you and thank you.